Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and bring you the crucial insights you need to thrive. And today, we're tackling something really vital, maybe a bit frustrating sometimes, for you folks in marketing, IT, even business owners. Email deliverability.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Think about it. You pour effort into the perfect campaign, send a critical update, but, well, if those emails just vanish into the spam folder, it's like they never happened.
That's the stark reality, isn't it? I mean, email is still absolutely core to how businesses communicate.
Right.
Customers, prospects, internal comms. Making sure those emails actually, land in the inbox. That's not just some tech detail. It's directly tied to your marketing ROI, your communication effectiveness, everything really.
Exactly. And let's be honest, there's just so much information out there on this. It's overwhelming.
Oh, definitely.
So our aim with this deep dive is really to distill it down. We've looked at industry best practice guides, white papers, the type of stuff like the Adobe Deliverability Guide or the DMA's Email Deliverability Review, basically pulling out the core principles that genuinely make a difference.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty straightforward. Give you actionable insights. We want you leaving this knowing, okay, these are the factors, and crucially, here are concrete things I can actually do to improve my deliverability.
We get it. Your schedules are packed, you're drowning in information, so we promise to be laser-focused, maximum value for your time. Okay, let's dive in. The DMA white paper really nails the foundation. Sender reputation.
Yes, sender reputation. Think of it like your email sending trust score. ISPs, internet service providers, they use this score to decide, basically, do we trust this sender? Do we let their emails in? And if so, where do they go, inbox or spam?
A trust score. Okay.
And what's really striking, maybe even a bit alarming, is the DMA data suggesting that something like 80%, 80 of email delivery problems, they trace back to a poor sender reputation.
Wow, 80%. That's
Yeah.
massive. It really puts it in perspective. So what actually builds or tanks this trust score?
Well, it's several key things. The sheer volume of email you send is one. Your bounce rates, that's, emails getting rejected because the address is bad or whatever. And importantly, how often people mark your emails as spam. Complaints.
Okay.
And the Adobe Guide also points out something important. Reputation is increasingly tied to your whole domain, not just the specific IP address you're sending from today.
That makes sense. Companies use multiple servers, different providers maybe. So who's actually holding the reins here? Is it me, the marketer, or my email service provider, the ESP?
It's really a shared responsibility. Your ESP, yeah, they handle the tech infrastructure, manage bounces technically, talk to ISPs. But you, the sender, you control the really critical stuff. How you build your list in the first place, how often you mail, is it consistent? How targeted is your content? What is the content? Both sides have a huge role.
Okay, shared responsibility. So as a marketing manager or maybe a business owner listening, how can I even get a feel for where my reputation stands right now? Is it like a black box?
Fortunately, no, not entirely. There are public tools you can use to get a sense of your IP reputation. The DMA paper mentions a couple of good ones. SenderScore, that's at senderscore.org, and SenderBase at senderbase.org. They give you a general idea of how the internet views your email traffic.
X_, SenderBase. Got it. Worth checking out. Now, we keep using this word deliverability. The Adobe Guide does a good job breaking down what that really means.
Yeah, it's actually got two main parts. First, there's the delivered rate. That's simply the percentage of emails that didn't bounce back, the ones the ISP accepted.
Okay, sounds good so far.
But, and this is the crucial bit, there's inbox placement. Did those emails the ISP accepted actually land in the main inbox? Or did they get filtered off to the spam folder or maybe promotions tab?
Right, because a 99% delivered rate means absolutely nothing if 50% of those are just rotting away in the junk folder where no one sees them.
Precisely. And the Adobe Guide gives this really powerful example. They sketch out a scenario. Say you have a 2% conversion rate. Average purchase is $100. Okay. If your inbox placement drops by just 10%, that could mean losing around $20,000 in potential revenue just from that 10% dip and getting into the main inbox.
$20,000. Okay, yeah. That definitely makes you sit up and pay attention. It puts a real number on it for any business owner or marketing lead.
It really does. It's not just a technical metric. It's dollars and cents.
So who are these gatekeepers deciding the fate of our emails? We're talking spam filters, right?
Exactly. Spam filters. They operate everywhere, on your desktop email client, on the mail server itself, at the big internet gateways, and they use, well, a whole toolkit of techniques. The DMA source mentions a few common ones.
Like what?
Okay, so there's Bayesian filtering. Think of it like it learns over time. It sees lots of email, figures out which words and phrases are more likely to be in spam versus legit messages. It gets pretty smart at pattern recognition.
Interesting, like a language detective.
Kinda, yeah. Then there's fingerprinting. Each email sort of has a unique digital fingerprint based on its parts, sender, ID, content snippets. If the same fingerprint pops up from tons of different places, red flag for spam.
Detecting mass mailings.
Right. And then heuristic filtering. This uses like thousands of preset rules. It checks everything, headers, content, links, and gives the email a spam score. If the score's too high, boom, junk folder.
Sounds pretty sophisticated. A multi-layered defense. And it's not just protecting individual consumers, is it? Adobe made a point about B2B.
Oh, absolutely crucial point. Many businesses actually use major providers like Gmail or Microsoft 365 to host their own company email. So those same filters protecting personal inboxes, they're screening your business-to-business emails too. Deliverability isn't just a marketing thing. It hits core operations.
Good point. Okay, let's talk about something that probably causes some anxiety. Blacklists. What are they exactly, and how do you end up on one?
Right, blacklists, or RBLs, DNSBLs, SURBLs, lots of acronyms. Basically, they're real-time lists of IP addresses or domains known or suspected of sending spam. ISPs and filter companies use these lists to help decide, should we even accept email from this source? Think of it as a kind of shared naughty list.
A naughty list, okay. How does a legitimate business trying to do things right end up on this list?
Well, a couple of ways. You can get reported directly by recipients hitting the spam button. That's one. Or, and this is maybe sneakier, the blacklist operator might add you based on their own monitoring, often using something called spam traps.
Spam traps. That sounds bad.
It is. The DMA mentions big blacklist operators like Spamhaus, SpamCop. They have a lot of influence. And spam traps, well, the Adobe Guide goes into these. They're basically bait email addresses.
Or bait.
Yeah. There are different kinds. Recycle traps are old addresses that were once real but are now inactive, used to catch people mailing old lists. Typo traps are addresses with common misspellings, unlikely real signups. And then the really dangerous ones. Pristine traps.
Pristine.
These addresses were never real user accounts. They were created purely to catch spammers, scraping addresses, or using dirty lists. Hitting one of those, Adobe says it can seriously damage your reputation long term.
Yikes. Okay, so how do we avoid these minefields? And if you do end up on a blacklist, what can you do?
Prevention is absolutely key. Good data collection, we'll get to that, and constant list hygiene. If you think you're blacklisted, the DMA notes there are web tools to check your IP. If you are listed, getting off delisting usually means contacting that specific blacklist operator and following their cleanup process. It can be, well, a real headache sometimes. Best avoided.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, let's shift gears to something that's become super important. Engagement. Adobe really hammered this point.
Absolutely. ISPs have gotten much smarter. They're not just looking at what's in the email anymore. They're watching closely how people interact with it.
How so?
Positive signs are things like opening the email, clicking links, forwarding it, maybe even replying. Those tell the ISP, hey, this person values this mail. Negative signals.
Yeah.
Deleting without opening, ignoring it consistently, unsubscribing, and the worst one, marking it as spam.
So it's not enough to just get into the inbox anymore. People actually have to want your email once it's there.
Exactly. Quality over quantity is the mantra now. Sending tons of email to people who just aren't engaged, that actively hurts your sender reputation.
And Adobe also mentioned Apple's mail privacy protection.
Yeah, the thing that messes with open rates. Right. Makes traditional open tracking less reliable.
Yeah.
So those other signals, did they click through to your website? Did they engage on social after seeing the email? Did they buy something? Those become even more critical clues for ISPs about whether your emails are actually wanted.
It really sounds like ISPs are building detailed profiles of what their users value.
They are. The DMA source talks about smart inboxes, like Gmail's priority inbox. They learn your behavior. If you always engage with emails from a certain sender, they'll prioritize them. But the flip side, the DMA mentions gray mail.
Gray mail.
Yeah, like newsletters or offers you might have signed up for once, but now you just ignore or delete them. They're not exactly spam, but you don't really want them right now.
Yeah.
High complaints about that kind of mail can also drag your deliverability down.
Okay, this all points back to having a list of people who genuinely want your emails. So how do we build that? Livestock data collection, list growth, best practices.
This is foundational. Organic growth of engaged subscribers, both Adobe and DMA stress this. Best sources, direct signups, your website, maybe in-store if you have that.
Makes sense. People actively asking for it. What about single versus double opt-in? I hear that debated.
Yeah, Adobe strongly advises against single opt-in. That's where someone just types in an email and bang, they're on the list. The problem is it's full of risks. Typos leading to bounces, hitting those typo spam traps we mentioned, people signing up without really meaning to.
So what's the gold standard?
Double opt-in, DOI. Someone signs up, you immediately send a confirmation email, and they have to click a link in that email to confirm they want to subscribe. Adobe calls it a cornerstone of good hygiene. It minimizes traps, reduces complaints.
That extra click seems worth it then.
Oh, hugely. It proves the address is valid and the person is actually interested. The DMA even notes DOI is legally required in places like Germany. And Adobe adds things like using hidden form fields or recap TCHA to stop bots signing up automatically. And just as important is what not to do. Buying lists, renting lists, appending data, using trade show lists without explicit consent, relying heavily on sweepstakes. Adobe warns strongly against all of these. They almost always lead to low engagement, high complaints, hitting spam traps, and potentially getting you kicked off your ESP. Just don't do it.
Okay, clear message there. So you've got a new subscriber the right way, via DOI. What's next to start that relationship off right?
Welcome emails. Adobe calls them foundational for engagement. Send it ASAP after they confirm, especially if you promise some kind of discount or offer.
Makes sense. Strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly. Needs a great subject line, good pre-header text. Critically, it has to set expectations. What kind of emails will they get? How often? And give them a clear link to a preference center so they can manage settings. Show your brand personality, keep it fairly concise, and maybe even consider a short welcome series like 3 to 5 emails to onboard them properly. Personalization helps too, of course.
It's like that crucial first impression, isn't it? Setting the tone. Okay, shifting to the emails themselves, the content, what are the key things to watch there?
Several things. Adobe mentions keeping the HTML file size down, ideally under 100 kb, maybe even 60, 80 kb, so they load fast, especially on mobile. Use descriptive alt text for images, not just image, but blue widget by now. But also, don't rely only on images, because lots of clients block them by default. The message needs to work without them.
And the words themselves, I know there are dreaded spam trigger words.
Oh, yeah. The factors affecting deliverability source lists common culprits, especially for subject lines. Things like starting with re or FIA-WD, over-the-top promo words like free, donate, pricing. Definitely avoid anything shady sounding. No crazy promises like double your income. And watch out for excessive punctuation or all cap S.
Got it. Keep it clean, keep it professional.
And comply with the law, like canned spam in the U.S. Clear sender info, an obvious and easy unsubscribe link, don't hide it, and handle complaints properly. Avoid sneaky stuff like email spoofing. Use your own domain to send, not a freebie like Gmail or Yahoo. Adobe stresses this for recognition. And try to stick with a consistent template. Constantly changing it can look suspicious too.
That's a lot to keep in mind for content. Okay, let's get a bit more technical, but clearly essential. Authentication protocols. Sounds complicated, but why is it important?
Super important. It's about proving you are who you say you are, preventing phishing and spoofing that use your good name. Both Adobe and DMA highlight protocols like SPF, DKIM, and Sender ID.
SPF, DKIM.
Right. SPF Sender Policy Framework basically lets you list which servers are allowed to send email for your domain. DKIM Domain Keys Identified Mail adds a digital signature to your emails. ISPs check these to verify the email is legit and hasn't been messed with. Sender ID is similar. Adobe also suggests maybe using a dedicated subdomain just for your marketing emails.
So it's like showing your email's passport and making sure the seal isn't broken.
That's a great analogy, actually. Yeah, it builds trust with the ISPs.
Okay. Now, even with great sign-up methods, lists decay. People change jobs, abandon emails. So list hygiene, keeping it clean.
Absolutely essential. Regular proactive cleaning. The DMA source says before you send, do a data audit. Look for duplicates, known hard bounces, invalid formats, obvious junk like azodia keyback, common misspellings, maybe filter out role accounts like info at or sales at, unless you have a specific reason.
What about bounces?
Rigorous bounce management. Hard bounces, permanent failures like user doesn't exist, remove them immediately. Soft bounces, temporary issues like mailbox full, suppress them after a few tries. The DMA suggests maybe 5 soft bounces in about 28 days as a rule of thumb, and constantly work to avoid those spam traps through DOI and cleaning out inactive people.
Makes sense. Keep the list healthy and active. What about when people actively complain, hit that spam button?
That's where feedback loops, or FBLs, come in. The DMA explains these. Major ISPs like AOL, Yahoo, Microsoft Hotmail Outlook, Comcast offer them. When a user hits spam, the ISP sends you or your ESP a report via the FBL.
Why is that useful?
Because you could then immediately remove that complainer from your list. Yeah. Super important for reputation. Microsoft also has its SNDS tool for Hotmail Outlook data on traps and complaints. And the DMA also mentions making sure you have clear list unsubscribe options in your email headers. Another easy way for people to opt out without complaining.
Okay, practical tools there. Now, for bigger senders, managing IP addresses seems like a whole other thing.
Yeah, it can be, yeah. If you get a brand new IP address for sending, it has zero reputation. You need to warm it up.
Warm it up, like an engine.
Sort of. You start sending low volumes, then gradually increase it over days or weeks, watching your engagement metrics like a hawk. It's best to send to your most engaged subscribers first during warming to build that positive history quickly.
Right. Showing the ISPs you're a good actor from day one. Adobe also mentions sender permanence. What's that about?
It's about consistency. Sending roughly similar volumes on a regular schedule looks like legitimate behavior. Spammers often blast huge volumes from one IP, then jump to another when it gets burned that's erratic. ISPs trust predictable, consistent senders more. Adobe contrasts good stable volume with bad spiky patterns.
Consistency builds trust. Got it. Now, we've talked general principles, but Adobe noted that the big ISPs, Gmail, Microsoft, Yahoo, they all have their own quirks, right?
They absolutely do. They all have their own algorithms, their own priorities.
Yeah.
Gmail, for instance, really focuses heavily on user feedback and engagement. How people interact with your mail in Gmail is huge.
Okay, what about the others?
Microsoft Hotmail, Outlook, they can be quite sensitive to sudden changes in sending volume, and sometimes they filter new senders more strictly at first. Yahoo, which includes AOL and Verizon now, often uses throttling, slowing down delivery, and might bulk emails based on reputation.
So not quite one size fits all.
Definitely not. And Adobe recommends using tools like Gmail Postmaster Tools and Microsoft's SNDS to get specific insights into how your mail is doing with them.
Valuable resources. Okay, wrapping this all up, what's the key to staying on top of deliverability long term?
It really comes down to continuous monitoring. Watch your key metrics. Bounce rates, if they spike, something's wrong. Open and click rates, if they drop even if delivery's high, you might be getting bulked. And complaint rates, high complaints always mean trouble with list quality or relevance. And don't be afraid to get help. Adobe advises working with deliverability experts for big strategic moves or if you hit persistent problems.
This has been, wow, incredibly thorough. It's so clear that deliverability isn't just some tech footnote. It's absolutely fundamental to marketing and communication success online.
It really is.
Yeah.
Getting it right and keeping it right, it's an ongoing process. It needs constant attention to your reputation, your list hygiene, engagement, authentication, and, knowing those ISP differences.
And for everyone listening, whether you're a marketing manager trying to hit your numbers, an IT manager keeping communications flowing, or a business owner focused on the bottom line, mastering these isn't really optional anymore, is it? It's essential.
Totally essential.
So if you are struggling with deliverability, or maybe you just want to proactively optimize things to make sure your messages hit the inbox consistently, the team here at OneCloud Consultants really lives and breathes this stuff. We have the expertise to help.
Yeah, our consultants can really dig in, audit what you're doing now, help implement these best practices, and tailor strategies to boost your inbox placement and protect that crucial sender reputation. We understand all these moving parts.
So to find out how OneCloud Consultants can help your business get better email deliverability and just improve communication overall, we definitely encourage you to visit our website. Just search for OneCloud Consultants or reach out to our sales team directly. We can set up a consultation.
And maybe just leave you with this thought. Think about it, how much potential revenue or how many critical messages might be getting lost right now in spam folders without you even realizing it. Taking proactive steps on deliverability, it's not just a technical task. It's really a strategic imperative for succeeding today.